Hi, this is Kevin Flynn with Platinum Realty, and I am here today with Ron Ireland. Ron, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good morning, Ron Ireland, and I'm a lender, so I do mortgages for first-time home buyers, second-time home buyers, investors. So a lot of different ways we can do that. I work for United Fidelity Funding Corporation. It's a lender that is a direct lender, so we're direct to Fannie, Freddie, and all that, and really have a plethora of different kinds of loans to help people out with.
Okay, great, Ron. How long have you been in the industry?
So I've been a lender for 24 years, but I've been in the industry over 40 years. Was an appraiser before that, had my real estate license. So really have kind of done everything out there that is in the real estate market that I'm able to bring to the table to help people out.
Okay, great. And I am a realtor with the KC Resource Group with Platinum Realty. And together, Ron and I are your Kansas City real estate experts. So today, we're going to give you our top 3 reasons to buy a home. So what's your number 1 reason to buy a home, Ron?
Well, it's that investment. So for most people, that house that they buy, right, is the biggest investment they'll ever make in their life, right? It's, you buy that first time home buyer house, and you get a little equity in that, and you take that equity and maybe most Americans buy that second home, right? That's when they really start gaining equity. And, on the average, homes go up historically 3% a year, right? Sometimes, like right now, it's going up more than that, right? But historically, it's about 3 or 4% a year. But if you can get that over 40 or 50 years, that you live in that house, you've got some unbelievable equity. So most people, get to retirement and they have that house they can sell and downsize with, get something smaller, right? Or they may want to stay in the house they have. Maybe it's paid off. But most people who buy a home have $3, $4, $500,000 in equity out there. So really, this is the way that most Americans put together, money for retirement, sending a kid to college, all those things that we need money for in the future.
Okay. Now, my second reason to buy a home is the stability it provides for you. Because when you buy a home, you're putting down roots. You're putting down in a school district, in a community, in a neighborhood that you can live in for a long time. Nobody can tell you gotta leave your house. As long as you pay that monthly mortgage payment, pay them taxes every year, it is your house forever. And that is my number 1 reason. No more landlords, no more of that. You can paint the walls any color you want. You can plant whatever you want to in the front yard, in the backyard. So it's just that stability of
have whatever pets you want.
Have whatever pets you want. Within the city regulations, but you can do all that. So it's just that stability of owning a home. So what's your third reason there, Ron?
So really, pride of ownership. Right? You own that property. Again, as Kevin saw, as long as you're paying those taxes and that mortgage, it's your property to do with what you want. You can make improvements to that property. You can really make it your own. And that's something I talk about, is making a house a home, right? It's the home that you can come home to every night. It's you're proud of that. You are able to have people over to see it. So it's really that investment that I talked about, but more importantly, it's part of the American dream to own a home today.
So when you're ready to make that purchase and get your home, go ahead and give Ron and myself a call, and together we will get you the best deal available and get you into your next home.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Hi, this is Kevin Flynn with the KC Resource Group by Platinum Realty. And again, I'm here today with Ron Ireland, a loan officer with United Fidelity. And so today I've got a few questions for you, Ron, just to, when I'm dealing with a client, the first thing that us realtors, we always ask our clients is, have you got your financing in place? And because I can't do anything until I know what that budget number is. Are you a $250,000 budget or a $300,000 budget? So it doesn't seem like a huge difference in price, but when it comes to going and showing houses, it makes a big difference. So I just need to know that budget so I can get started. And plus, once I've got you pre-approved with you, then I can actually start making offers. Because if we go look at a house and I don't have that pre-approval, I can't really make an offer because I don't know that you can afford it and this is the right house for you. So I need you to do that work for us before we can even get started to go and looking at houses. So with that said, Ron, I got a few questions. What's the first step that when I send somebody over to you?
So I really like to, kind of ask a few questions and find out if they have any questions about, kind of what they're doing, make sure they understand they're getting pre-qualified to be able to go buy a house, right? But once we get past that, the first thing I'm going to ask them is to fill out an application, right? So I need to get their basic information, your current address, your full name, social, all those things to make it so we can pull credit. So that's the first step in any getting that pre-approval going.
Okay, so once we got that application going, what sort of paperwork are you going to need to go along with that application?
So great question. So, you're going to need to show that how much money you make. So I'm going to need those pay stubs, right, to show how much money you make. We're going to need those W-2s, find out how much, you made last year, how long you've been at your job. We're going to need to know your tax returns, see how much you declare. If there's other things that you declare, maybe have a little side business that you make some money on, some other ways to get you qualified out there, right? And bank statements show do you have enough money for the down payment, right? If you don't, we have ways to get you qualified if you don't, but you're going to need at least a little money to be able to buy a house, right? Mm-hmm. And then we're going to need your ID, your driver's license to make sure you really are who you say you are.
Okay. Ron, credit score. You mentioned credit score. That's a big thing with buying a house. What credit score does somebody need in order to qualify for a loan?
So we could go down to 580, which is really a pretty low credit score to help people out. With the 580, you can do a VA, FHA, and now USDA is down to about 620 and conventional is down to about 620 that you have to have. A little more difficult to qualify for USDA and conventional. And most people who apply for conventional have a 700 credit score or better, right? But you don't have a lot of the qualifications that you do. The great part about FHA is you're able to get qualified and get people all the time, maybe have a 590, all the time qualified with a 590, and FHA has a lot easier standards than the harder conventional loans.
Okay. What if somebody's credit score is low? What can you do for them there?
Well, if they're under 580, really what we like to do is send them to a credit repair person. I have a couple different credit repair persons that I have, and I'm going to give you, so you can call each of them, make sure that they're a fit for you, but they're going to help you with a lot more than just, your score. They're going to help you understand, budgeting and how to save money and all those other things just besides, getting your score where you need it to be.
Okay. You mentioned a down payment. How much money does a person need for their down payment?
So conventional is only 3%, right? But like I talked about, you have to have a little bit better credit score. But the great part of FHA is 3.5%. So just a tick more down, and you can go FHA. And FHA is a great way that a lot of first-time home buyers use to be able to get into that house.
Okay, I've heard this thing called closing costs. How much extra cash above my down payment am I going to need for the closing costs?
So great question. So we'll kind of break that down. First of all, you need that 3.5%, right? So on a $200,000 house, that's about $7,000 you're going to need, right? And then you have closing costs, and closing costs are typically about $5,000. I'm going to break that down for you in that half of that is your money. It's your taxes and insurance. So we hold that money for you to pay those taxes and insurance. You don't have to worry about that again. So about $2,500. The other $2,500 is a breakdown of your title insurance that you'll have to have and make sure that you're getting good title, right? That's the appraiser that you have to pay that appraiser and paying the processing and the underwriting fee out there. So about $5,000. So total on a $200,000 house today is about $12,000.
Okay, and a little tip there, Ron. Us as realtors, there's a lot of times that we can ask for closing costs to be paid by the seller. That's a negotiating tactic that may work for your deal, may not. Just depends on our total package that we're offering. But we can definitely work with you and get you going with that.
Yeah, that's right. I encourage all the realtors, hey, make sure we can, get a little bit of that closing cost from that seller. They're allowed to pay on an FHA. They're allowed to pay up to 6%. So a good amount that you can get, right, to cover those costs I talked about, or maybe even want to buy that rate down a little bit. We can get some extra money to buy that rate down for you.
All right, great. So when you're ready to buy the house, go ahead and give myself and Ron a call, and we'll get you started and get you through the process and get you that first home.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.